today is the last leg day, and I think today is the only leg day in between these two shows. So this is something I do have to bring up. My current training, like these workouts, this past week, and going forward this next week, these are in between competition, like basically peak week style lifts. So what do I need out of these workouts is really what's determining what they look like is, well, I need, to just hit whatever I'm hitting satisfactorily. I need to pump, I need some blood flow, I need to kind of stimulate all my fibers and whatever, we all get the gist. But I don't need to obliterate my legs into nothing, We're not going nuclear with this quad day. This is a little more, it's almost like the equivalent of sparring instead of doing like an all-out match, if you see what I'm saying, So in terms of actually like show accommodating, legs really does get pulled back in terms of the amount of gas on the pedal, because even today, so it's only 10 days out from the Arnold UK, it's the 17th. If I completely thrashed my legs today, like if I said 5 sets of leg press, 5 sets of Smith machine squats, all to failure, leg extensions, maybe I overdid my volume a bit as well, my legs could be residually swollen going forward, even onto show day, and then whatever kind of cuts and grains I may have are going to be kind of washed out, and just sort of puffy, which, some might see that as an excuse of, I get to chill out on my leg training for a little while, which is kind of true, But if you want to actually have a leg workout to follow and look at where, it's more actually stimulating, high intensity, growing based, you got to rewind the clock. That's probably the coolest part for me, at least, about having all these workouts recorded, is I can go back in time and see what I looked like 6 months ago doing like a fully bulked leg day or a fully bulked chest day, freaking moving around 4 plates for whatever I may have been doing at the time. Not currently. It'll come back. Some heft will come back. So if you miss the bulking workouts, they're on the horizon. I can see the sun just begin. It hasn't breached the ocean yet, but it's right over there. Things are getting orange. Things are brightening up. Right, we'll get to some heft, but it is going to take a little longer. So I'm just going to make today a full-on leg day. So going to start with some hamstrings, and really not so much, some sets of laying curls, some sets of seated curls, some leg extensions, probably some sissy squats, maybe a machine leg press, light, but just, for the purpose of kind of going through a pressing motion rather than just a leg extending motion. And then I don't know if I want to do, I'll see. I've been cranking the cardio up these past few days and doing an hour session each, which I have been doing 45 minutes for 2 sessions the last few weeks. But given I'm kind of but after, really carving up during that last show, that may as well have been like a really big cheat day. Now, it was for the purpose of carving up and like filling up for show day, but that was a good amount of carbs, which if I want to actually burn into the body fat on my frame, it means I got to get back to a flattened state, The way I would describe this before we actually get started with the lift is your body is storing energy in 2 very readily apparent ways, right? You've got intramuscular glycogen, which is just the sugar water evenly spread throughout your whole body and all your muscle cells. That's what a marathon runner is going to talk about when they say they're carb loading the night before a big race. They're trying to fill up all those glycogen stores beforehand so they can burn that energy off as they're doing their thing the next day. And you've also got your body fat stores. So the way that I would describe it is it's like you've got a fully stocked pantry, and your body fat is going to be boxes of pasta or rice or bags of flour, or just like basic bulk foods that needs time to prepare, whereas the glycogen in your system is more like a box of Ritz, or a bowl of or a box of cereal, or like a sleeve of Oreos. So those are the things that are going to get emptied out of the fridge first, because for one, they're much easier to, you know, break down, or not break down, but just eat, because you don't have to do any prep work. So what I'm getting at is I'm going to burn through all my carbs first, and only once I'm at a certain level of like flatness is my body then going to say, all right, shit, not so many carbs to run off of, let's start oxidizing some fats, and, you know, whatever the correct term is for, you know, cleaving off the chains of carbons or whatever, to release the energy that's stored inside them, you know. So if you have one crazy cheat day and fuck man, you say, you know what, I don't care, I'm eating 3 pounds of gummy bears today, we're doing it, you're not instantly screwed. You're going to wake up the next day fully carbed up, so all your glycogen stores are full. I mean, that's basically what I did for the Arnold, or the Arnold UK, and I'm going to do for the Arnold, or the Arnold Columbus, and I'm going to do for the Arnold UK, is fill up all my glycogen with sugar by, or not sugar, but carbs in general, by basically carb loading, right? So that's going to put my glycogen stores way up here. I'm not burning any body fat when my glycogen stores are completely full, because that's really quickly available energy. So that's kind of how I would, or at least how I wrap my head around the importance of the consistency of a diet, is I've got to be steadily in a deficit so that I'm also steadily basically depleted and low on carbs, so that I have to use my body fat for energy rather than those internal glycogen stores. If you feel what I'm saying, this would be much easier, probably much easier to get with like a whiteboard and some what do we say? Some whiteboard, like some dry erase markers and stuff like that. Do a little bit of a kind of breakdown. But the main thing I need to focus on right now is let's get in here and get a leg pump, and then get some cardio done afterward, and well, just come home, eat a little more food, and then get ready for cardio session number 2 later tonight. So I doubt it's going to be too busy right now. Let's just get in there and get freaking started. All right, it's been a while since I've done a full leg day, but even, well, I wouldn't call this a full leg day. This is just a hamstring quad session. A full leg day, I'd say, would include some kind of wild ass squat or leg press. Not to say I'm not getting it done, but things are going to look a lot different once my daily carb intake goes from like 200 to 800. Even just saying it is getting me excited. But let's just start here. Light squeezing, even just doing feeler reps with half the stack. This is going to get some worked out. These are going to be burning. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. 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 Okay, 2 more of those. And then we'll switch to, I don't know, maybe a seated curl would be good. We'll figure it out. Ooh, 1 more. Whoops. I forgot to hit record. Just did 1 more set, but let's do some standing curls next. So this stack goes up to 150. I have no idea who could do that. I'm only doing the 30s, or doing 30.
And even bulked, like I can't even do 100 on this thing. So this is the kind of machine I like. Something about the weight ratio and how much cables and tension. It's like when the full stack is impossible, it actually makes you pick the right weight. If I'm close to the bottom of the stack, I'm just gonna bump it up. Just, you know, that's that ego lifter talking. But when the stack is undoable, it kind of humbles you a little, in a good way. But let's do alternating reps and go from there. I think some leg extensions will be next. Yeah. 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 Okay. Ooh, all right. Yeah. Let's get some leg extensions going now. Now is simply to get my quads as pumped as possible. So I think that's going to entail a few sets of leg extensions, a few sissy squat combos, that seated leg press right there. And before we know it, find some mirror space, see how we're looking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, so the full stack is 500 pounds. This is only 300, so very manageable, but a very different sort of strength curve feeling with a press than a leg extension. I love leg extensions for the squeeze, but for more of a deeper standard press, leg extension is pretty solid. And half of this is just to change it up. All right. Ooh. Yeah. 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 Poof. Okay. Okay. I thought I was going to do two. We're just doing the one. Let's finish with some leg extension 50 squats and See how we're looking. All right, without exaggeration, this really is one of the best leg extensions I've ever used. And it's just something about it, I don't know, like the strength curve and just like how smooth it feels on my knees. Yeah, it's just freaking sweet. But assuming this set goes well, combined with the Sissy squat, or with the Sissy squat, this could be it. But obviously let's do the set first to find out. You never know. And the seatbelt does not hurt either. Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. A little heavier. Yeah. Okay. That is all. All right. Yeah, those leg press sets, or that leg press set, just the one, definitely got some hamstrings activated. So let's see how we're looking. Morning weight, 228 pounds. So I finally got all that spare water out of my system. And holy shit, that is way veinier than I thought I was gonna look right now. Oh, okay. All right, let me make sure we're in focus. Yeah, I don't know what I expected, but I did not think I was gonna look like this. Woo! Holy shit. Oh my gosh. I guess I just kind of got used to like watery looking Sam, that I forgot what the veiny Sam kind of looks like. Let's do a little breath hold, really get these things out here. Oh my god, holy shit. I gotta take a picture on my fucking phone here. Oh yeah, there we go. This is story worthy. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, holy crap. Just fucking standing, no flexing, side of quad veins. This is fucking nuts. Oh yeah, this is what I want to see. So what I'm aiming for the Arnold UK is honestly to look a little more like this. I'm not going to try to push my water depletion so hard this time, and I'm really going to focus on kind of coming in fuller, because I look like a total freak 2 days after the show in the gym. Obviously I was 243 pounds of extra carbs and water. I'm not going to be able to be on stage at 243, but if I can be stage weight or show day morning 235, 236, that'll be a very substantial change from show to show. So that's really my biggest goal. Come in bigger. And I think I align with that in my mind pretty well. So I'm freaking out of here. I got to go take a delivery at the gym. So my cardio will have to wait, but it will still be done. Just, in like an hour. That was a leg pump. That was a leg pump for sure. And that was a nice surprise. That was a nice little surprise of leanness. Yeah, I definitely could tell over this past week of post-show rebound combined with a little bit of international travel. Even though, Canada's right there, it's not really that far. Like, you can take a domestic stateside flight further than that. But yeah, now we're finally getting back to that kind of drier look. So yeah, cardio is to be maintained, but
actually there is no but. We're just smooth sailing. So cardio as normal, deficit as per usual, that 2400 range. Yeah, now it's just kind of waiting, which is kind of a strange feeling because I like being in the gym and giving it 100% fucking effort. I like when the gym is the hard part in a good way. I like challenging myself on a set-by-set basis of, okay, I don't care if it's only one set of laying leg curls and then just going fucking nuts, or freaking nuts rather. But dieting down, especially at this point between shows, the effort is more evenly distributed across the entire day. So instead of this concentrated effort of the lift, it's a more evenly distributed effort of, for one, not grubbing, which is harder than you'd think if you've never actually done it for a while. It's doable, but don't let me be the kind of guy to sit here and say like, oh, why can't you diet, bro? Why can't you get lean? It's so easy. That is certainly not the case. It is doable, but it's still challenging for sure. So instead of just thinking, all right, I'm going to make this set of squats the most insane fucking thing ever, it's an evenly distributed, I'm not going to eat that Oreo right now. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to stop in that Duchess gas station and get 4 bags of chips or whatever. I don't even have any chips cravings, but you get what I'm saying. It just kind of requires a little bit, not a little bit, kind of a lot of just self-discipline, and I'm not usually the guy to sit here and say the word discipline. I don't know if that's really a word that I resonate with, but when nobody's watching and it's just you, that is a very eye-opening experience of how are you going to act. How are you going to treat your goals, and how are you going to go about the things that you value when there is no external circumstance or force keeping you in line, So that's what I like the most about working out, on the side that it is a pretty individual kind of endeavor, not much of a team. It's really you doing you. And what I like about that is it really kind of validates that I do want to do it. I do want to stick to my diet, and I do want to train really hard, and I do want the results that all this training is going to give me because I'm doing it. I could just sit here and do, I could just go home and eat a bunch of trash and say that I stuck to my diet, but that'd be freaking stupid. I'm sure there's a lot of people who do that. They say they're only eating chicken and rice, and then they go home and they eat a bunch of freaking junk. It's at least talk about it if you're going to eat it, man. I don't see the point in hiding that sort of thing. But yeah, it's what you do when nobody's watching, and that's why I can really kind of connect and click with somebody when, I'll be in a gym, totally random, never met this guy before. We start kind of chatting, and I hear him dude, I lost 70 pounds this year. I lost 60 pounds over this last, X number of months. And my eyes widen because now I know this guy knows what he's talking about. And not only does he know what he's talking about, but he's walked the walk. He's actually done it. He knows about counting his calories and tracking his macros and doing his cardio. And not even just that, but he knows that feeling that it takes to tell yourself no, And obviously it's not the most insane thing in the world to say, I'm not going to stick my hand in the cookie jar. But there's a lot of people who don't even think twice about that. The idea of the, temporary discomfort of not just, instantly pleasing themselves with whatever they want and going after that instant gratification, be it from, food or just over chilling. There's a lot of guys who spend a bit too much time chilling and just not really, working on anything. Not even work, just even stuff that they just want to do for fun or be active. There's semi-productive chilling, and then there's just completely non-productive chilling. When you're clocking hours on short form TikTok and Instagram, and you're not even going down a niche rabbit hole, you're just literally just feeding the algorithm system, that's kind of pointless chilling. I'm trying to reduce my pointless chilling currently. But yeah, a lot of people don't have that self-control. Even at all, and it's a weird kind of like liberating feeling, I guess, that these people might use to kind of like justify the treat yourself mentality of, don't worry about the calories, man. Eat whatever you want. Come on, don't worry about the gym. You don't need to do any of that. Don't worry about cleaning up your room, bro. Who cares? You do you. And that is just kind of a gross mentality, because if you take it to the extreme, and if you take anything to the extreme, obviously you're gonna see some extremes. But it's like, shit, man. You don't want to be caught slacking. I guess that's my main point. Don't be a slacker. At least for the things that you want to actually do. Because if somebody has an expectation of you, of like, okay, we want you to go to this school and we want you to get this job, or we want you to do well at this sport or whatever, then that might not even be your goal. That's just something that someone wants you to do or expects you to do. But when it comes to things that kind of, I don't want to say deep in your heart, but that you really find interesting and compelling and like you're passionate about, it's like, man, maybe I do want to try doing that. Maybe a couple of my buddies really like getting into the gym. I don't know. I'm just a little nervous to ask them. I don't want to be the third wheel guy. Like, I've never really worked out before. You got to go for it. You have got to go for it. It doesn't matter if it might turn into a freaking fireball of a failure. To have gone for something is going to make you a much cooler and just a much better dude afterward, because it makes it that much easier to go for something again. So right now I'm kind of in the middle of going for something. My thing, as I would probably describe it, or at least the biggest thing that I have, is going to be the gym. If you could do a screen time of my mind of what I think about the most and what I put the most energy and effort and thought into, it's going to be getting a pump, be it bulking, dieting, cardio, training, just trying to improve my training, looking at myself flexing post lift and thinking, what do I want to work on? Like, it's an outlet that I can pour a ton of energy into. And what I think the important part about it isn't necessarily the subject itself. Like, if instead of having my thing be bodybuilding, it was more like CrossFit training, or if it was maybe long distance running, like hypermarathon, that would be a very different alternate universe Sam. But if that were the case, I think I'd still reap the benefit of having a thing and an outlet that I personally enjoy and get a lot of value from, just intrinsically from doing it. And a lot of guys who I just really like and resonate with, they have a thing. It doesn't even have to be the gym, but when you kind of run across somebody who's got just an unadulterated passion for something, even cooler if it's the same thing you're into, like the camaraderie of just being in the gym and talking to somebody about just, random BS. You don't get to talk to normal people about that. As big as the gym is, it's kind of just us. It's a bubble. How many people work out versus don't work out? Let's just limit it to the States. 1 out of 100, 1 out of 200. We're the minority, man. So we got to kind of stick together, at least when we're in that kind of shared space, be it in person or kind of social media wise. But now I'm just getting into a long ass ramble. In summary, I'm feeling like a beast, at least in terms of progress. In terms of like strength, I'm not exactly feeling like a beast, but that strength will return. I'm not so much of an ego lifter that I can't handle backing off on incline bench for the sake of getting leaner. But it's more like the tide. It comes in and out, back and forth. It ebbs and flows. But feeling good. I'm certainly on track for another good showing, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to try to get a bit more behind the scenes. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to distract myself with trying to get all this kind of stuff recorded, because obviously I really like just enjoying the moment of it. But I also want to be able to look back at it too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. There will certainly be some extra UK footage over this next week for sure. But that's pretty much all I got to say there. So I'm going to go sign for this delivery, get some, grab a 3D, head to somewhere to hit some cardio. Definitely the treadmill, not the bike, because my quads are kind of cooked right now. So the bike is a little bit quad heavy. And then just keep going, man. You know, 9 more days after today, so it's actually even less because I'm going to be carbing up on what, the 26th or so. So really, I've only got 9 more days of dieting. I can handle 9 days. You know, I can go 9 days without a caniac craze. But let's not even think about it. Let's push that thought out of my mind. I will see you for whatever lift goes down tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be because my split has kind of been all over the place, but it'll definitely be something to do with upper body. I know that for sure. Anything else more specific, we'll just have to freaking see. But I'll see you then.